Welcome everyone to this new episode of the Young Learner podcast. If you ever dream of teaching yourself how to code, building a business from scratch, and then selling it for a profit, this is the episode for you. In fact, our guest today, Joma Rose, did exactly that. He is an indie hacker and self-taught developer who went from a normal job to building and successfully exiting his SaaS company, Clicks. So in this episode, we are unpacking like his entire journey, the reality of learning to code on your own, the challenges of being a solo founder, and the inside story of making a successful exit. So thank you very much, Jaume, for investing time with us.
Yeah, my pleasure, dude. I'm super happy to be here.
Yeah. So let's start from the scratch, right? So if can you tell us about like your background and what you initially sparked like your
Yeah,
interest in programming and entrepreneurship?
yeah. So I studied economics in university, so it has nothing to do with what I ended up
Mm-hmm.
doing. So that's my background. I don't have any formal technical background. I then ended up doing a coding bootcamp called Le Wagon, which is quite popular in Barcelona. I actually did it in Barcelona. And then I did a lot of SEO work for a long time. I was head of SEO in different companies. I worked for a startup. I had my own SEO agency and all that. And then eventually I just realized I wanted to have my own product. And so with the kind of experience from the bootcamp and a little bit of ChatGPT when it kind of first came out, I think it was late 2023.
Yes.
I just started building stuff. I started off with an affiliate website that I wanted to build from scratch. I wanted to build like all the pages, all the landing pages. I wanted to build like programmatic SEO pages, which is basically like you have a kind of a landing page that's pre-built with things, and then you just fill it out with as much data as you want from like a specific data set. And I realized that I was kind of limited with the existing data, the existing tools that I was using at the time. So I was like, I'm just going to build it on my own. I have some coding background. And then from that, I also have a YouTube channel where I talk about SEO, and people started talking about how they really were looking for this specific type of SEO tool, and that just wasn't available at the time. Or if it was available, they didn't like the options that were there. And so I was like, you know what? Why don't I build it? What's the worst that can happen? No one signs up, and that's the end of that. But at least I have experience in building that tool. And so then I just started building it. Whenever I would get stuck on things, I would hire a developer on Upwork, and he would kind of help me move things forward.
Well, okay.
And that was super helpful at the time, especially early on, because I don't know, imagine setting up Postgres for the first time in your life. Like I had no idea what I was
Sure,
doing.
sure.
And even with the bootcamp, there's stuff that it's kind of hard when you have real users. When there's real bugs, things get a little bit tricky. So I did that, but then eventually you just start figuring things out on your own. And now with AI, things are crazy. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's kind of
crazy
the
story.
background. Yeah,
Crazy story. I think that it's you are not the first one that tell me, that like it's very a good idea to pay someone else up on Upwork, in order to speed up the things. Also, because
yeah,
sometimes when you have money, you can use this money to save time, right? So
absolutely.
for
Yeah,
a person that is not technical, maybe yes, people will say, yeah, you can go on YouTube, watch 4 hours tutorial and so on. Yeah, but it's still time. No, if I have money to invest in order to save
absolutely.
time, it's better.
Yeah, and more than anything, I think it's just for specific things, right? When you see it's like, okay, I'm really going to build this on my own. I'm going to do everything myself. Okay, but now I've been stuck on this thing for 2 days. Is there someone I can call for like 30, 40, 50, $60 an hour, whatever it is, that can just, in 1 hour, he'll just
Yeah,
move you forward and you can just
sure,
keep
sure.
going, right?
And something crazy that it really impressed me when for the first time you told us your story in the hacker meetup was that, no, correct me if I'm wrong, all your family more or less, you have siblings, brothers, and they are like entrepreneurs, like.
Mm-hmm.
So at the beginning I asked you which was your background, how you started to build this product and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And you say that you work in normal job in startup and so on, but
Mm-hmm.
then you decide that it was time to build something on your
Absolutely.
own.
Yeah.
Can you tell us which was the process that the turning point, no, that made you think, okay, now it's time to build my own things?
Yeah. 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 So just a little bit on my background for my brother. So my older brother, he runs a fitness app called Heavy app. It's quite
Okay.
popular. They have like 7 million plus users. So I'm sure some of you guys will have heard of it. And then my younger brother's also on YouTube, Arno Ross. If you look him up, he's a big time designer. He's got almost 100,000 subscribers. And so having that kind of culture at home is really interesting because I would tell them about how I was at my job. And at the time, I think my younger brother was also doing some type of job. And they're all like, you're such a loser, like when are you going to quit your job and just start your own thing? And so it's almost like it was something that I had to do eventually. I had to eventually just get out of that job. And it was more just the fact that I was just tired of being told what to do and not seeing kind of the impact that I was generating for the company being
Hmm.
paid back to me in the same way. At the time, I was working for a startup in Barcelona. Then I ended up working for another company in the US, mostly doing like marketing and running their SEO. And I realized that the impact that I was having, I wasn't getting paid for it, in the same way. And so I was like, this is kind of weird. Like, I wish it was just all the impact that I was generating for this company was coming back to me, right? Not only monetarily, but also just like everything, like, can I see the revenue going up? Can I see customers going up? Can I see people telling me how great the product is? No, I was just like focused on SEO. I would just see like the SEO impact or keywords going up or keywords going down. That was it. That was like my day, right? And I wanted to see kind of the whole company perspective. And so then I switched to kind of clients and having like a little agency. But even then, that's also super frustrating because you can do a lot of really good work for a client, and even then, you're still getting paid your fee every month, and you can still raise that. But agency is also a pain in the ass. Like, you have to hire a lot of people, and so yeah. So I think the move was just kind of natural. You just kind of get fed up with being in this office, with having these meetings, with I don't know. I didn't feel super productive. I felt like, what if I could spend 8 hours doing like 100% of what I wanted to do? I would be super productive, and I think the benefit later would be also crazy. Like, I could build something really meaningful. And so yeah, so I think I just kind of went for it. I quit my job. I had some savings, and yeah, and I do have to say that the YouTube channel really helped. The YouTube channel kind of it almost like saved me for some time because there are sponsors coming in. People always wanting to work with me. So I felt a little bit okay with, okay, let's say I quit my job and nothing works out within the first 6 months. So there's still a client that is going to want to work with me, right? So
Because once you told me that maybe YouTube for you was like the biggest and the best investment in your life, right?
yeah,
Because you invest a lot of time. So how, I mean, you already like give us a preview, but how YouTube help you? Because I have a very small YouTube channel, and
yeah,
I understood that I'm already comfortable in telling you that yes, it's the best investment in my life.
yeah,
Because also if it's very small, I have a lot of people that are contacting me. It's very niche,
yeah,
but I'm making good friends, good connection,
yeah.
and that's it. So how YouTube help you? Like,
Yeah. So to give you an idea, so I was working at this startup in Barcelona. I was getting paid like, I think it was like 40 something K to be the head of SEO at this startup. Um, and I feel like I was getting paid well. I think I was 23, 22 at the time. And then I start this YouTube channel, and under 500 subscribers, I get an offer to go work for a company remotely in the US, and they were going to pay me 150K. And I was like, wait, why am I working at this job when I can have this? So, and I think I might have had maybe 30 or 40 videos, and it was just being very dedicated, like publishing videos every week. And these things started happening where I get this offer, then there's a sponsor that wants to work with me, and these guys they're basically just like throwing money at you, right? At that point, because they want your audience, they want to have access to your audience. And so really early on, it already paid dividends. And then you get invited to things, you get invited to conferences. I've been invited to a bunch of conferences all over the world, just like to shoot a video. And it's so strange because you're sitting in this room with people they're like the top SEO guy. I mean, this is very niche to my channel, but they're the top SEO guys in the world, and you're just like sitting there just because you're recording it. It's such a strange thing, right? But yeah, I think it's been, yeah, it's been everything really. And it was the reason that my SaaS also worked. I think early on, it was like the launch pad for the SaaS,
yeah,
and I'm also using it as a launch pad for this next thing,
yeah.
which we can talk about later.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask you like then how did you get your first 100 customers? But I already have the answer, maybe
Yeah,
no. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I love the idea of YouTube in the sense that it's a sort of compound interest things in the sense that you build your digital assets that are your video that are working for you every day. You know what I really like? I really
hmm,
like to go every day in my YouTube Studio app and see that people are watching video that I did 3 years ago
yeah,
and say what I
hmm,
did this video. I don't know, I invested three hours of my life 2 years ago, and people are still watching me. And maybe one of these people could be, I don't know, an entrepreneur, a person that want to work with me, a very good future friends,
hmm,
this sort of thing. So yeah, I
yeah,
really agree with you. And yeah, YouTube, it's crazy. And one thing about your product. No? So now let's start a bit about your product. You already
Hmm.
told us that you start building this tool but on your own, then you start noticing some limitation of these tools, and then you also start like listening to your community on YouTube, and you start like seeing these people complaining. And I want to understand, how did you teach yourself how to code
Hmm.
first, and which were like the most important challenges that you faced during this journey?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a. I think it's. I don't know who called it this, but it's like brute force coding. Have you heard of that? It's just
Yeah.
I need to build this feature. I'm just not going to stop until it's done, and it'll take me a week. It'll take me 2 weeks. It doesn't matter, but I need to understand everything. I need to really just try and just kind of hammer through it. And it was basically that. And then again, at the time, like ChatGPT was coming out, and it was starting to get good at coding. So I was like, I mean, it's helping me. It's an absolute pain in the ass because I have to ask it like 50 questions, and then every once in a while I'll get something right, and then I'll plug it into the code, and then it'll work. But yeah, it was a lot of just trial and error. It was a lot of just hitting your head against the keyboard to make it work. And yeah, basically that was kind of it. Yeah.
So you build this MVP, then I assume that you publish this MVP, you use your YouTube channel as a
Hmm.
marketing channel, right? And that was the reaction of the user, the
Yeah,
first
I think
users.
so. I think actually something before that was really important that I think is helpful for almost anybody is that I created a wait list. So I like started to generate a lot of hype for the product. Like I would talk about it on YouTube. I talk about it on Twitter. I would say this is going to be the best SEO. I mean, maybe it wasn't, and it ended up not being the best SEO tool ever. But I just generated a lot of hype, and I just started to try and get as many people on this wait list as possible. And that also kind of helped me understand if there was going to be demand for the product or not, because you can start talking about something, have a wait list, and then talk about it for like 2 or 3 months. And if no one signs up, no one cares, no one even bats an eyelid, then maybe it's not the right product. But within a few weeks, there was like 500 people sign up for this wait list. And I was like, wow, this is insane, right? I think I'd also oversold it. I was like, this is going to be
Hmm.
crazy, all of this. But whatever, that's marketing, right? That's sales. That's just growth. So, and so by the time that I did launch the MVP and it was like half broken and a lot of things didn't work, I did a beta launch where I only launched to the first 50 customers because I didn't want to have like hundreds of people sign up and then they all complain on Twitter and then like it just shuts down. So I launched it to like a really small group of people, and that was really helpful. A lot of people told me they hated it. A lot of people told me they loved it. And so within those 3 months, it was a closed period. I tested a bunch of things. I fixed a bunch of things, and then I did a proper launch a few months afterwards. And then we just kind of off to the races.
And for how long have you worked on clicks at the end?
So I think I built it for I was building it for 6 months. Then I launched it in December. I did the closed beta for 3 months. Then I launched it properly in March, and the sale was in February. So it was
Okay.
basically a year and a half, I think, total.
And what was like your grow marketing strategy? I mean, you just use your YouTube, or you also do some paid
Yeah,
ads?
so it was YouTube was basically the first 100 customers. It was all
Hmm.
just YouTube and this wait list because there were so many people. By the time I did like the proper launch, there was like over 800 people on the wait list. And so I just sent it. I sent out an email, and then I reached. I think probably we went from 1,000 to 2,000 MRR within like the first few days, just because of that email, because there's so many people on the wait list. So it just kind
Hmm.
of exploded. And then I did some SEO as well, programmatic stuff that I think is really cool. So I was ranking, I think I'm still ranking for like, if you search top 200 searches in Hong Kong. So like people want to know what are the most searched keywords in specific countries or for specific languages. I created a bunch of like programmatic pages that are still ranking for that. And yeah, I started talking a lot about it on Twitter. Like I had this thing, this alerts where whenever someone would complain about a competitor of mine, I would get an alert and I would instantly try and comment the first person. I'd be the first person to comment. Someone would complain about like, oh, SEMrush is $200. That's crazy. And I'd be like, oh, you should try Clicks.so. It's only $25. And then every once in a while, I'd have a response that would have like 3,000 impressions just because I commented first on like on a big thread. And so that also helped. That also helped to grow it organically. And then eventually people just started talking about it, and they would just like mention me whenever people were talking about other SEO tools. Like, oh, you should try Jalma's Clicks.so. He just built it. So I think it's also just being active and just talking about things. I think, yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, good, that's good. And then you decide to exit, right? Can
Yeah.
you explain us the reasons? Because in one of your video you also mentioned it, the burnout. Don't know
Yeah,
if you can. So maybe if you can
absolutely.
also.
So, yeah,
Mhm.
so I think it's like it's like the pros and cons of building things on your own. It's like you get super excited because you're able to do whatever you want whenever you want, but that's also almost a negative because you can do it whenever you want. You almost end up doing it all the time, right? And so there's no kind of stopping you. There's no person that's like, bro, you should take the weekend off. My girlfriend says that, but we don't listen to our girlfriend. No, no. But so yeah, so it was mostly just a thing of burnout, right? It just got to a point where I just felt like, yeah, I just couldn't do it anymore. I wanted a break, but obviously with a tool that's kind of growing and there's customers and there's things you need to keep improving, especially in the SEO space at the time where things were super kind of unsure where it was going and you had to adapt and add new features to like help users find their businesses on now ChatGPT and on Perplexity and all these different search engines. And so I wanted to adapt, but I just didn't feel like I had the energy. And so I was like, maybe someone else is interested in this. And so I put it up on Acquire, and I ended up actually having an offer from some guy out of Acquire. But yeah, really quickly there was interest, right? Because it was profitable, it was growing. The churn was kind of high, but I've been told as well from different people in the SEO space that churn is pretty high for most SEO tools, right? A lot of people, what they do is they'll come in, they'll use a bit of the keyword research, they do a bit of research, then they'll cancel. And whenever they need something again, they'll come in for the next 3 months and they'll use it again. And so the churn was a little bit difficult to kind of get over the line for the sale, but eventually it closed, and it was probably less than a month total process. But yeah, but the main reason was just burnout, and yeah, it's unfortunate, but yeah.
Yeah, and how your daily routine looks like, no? Because before you mentioned something important. You say, yeah, you have the freedom to do whatever you want, whenever you want, but this also means that you don't have any limits, right? It's not like a 9 to 5 jobs where you say, okay, after five, it's
Yeah,
my start, my
yeah,
life starts, you know?
yeah.
So I just curious to know how
No,
was your daily routine at that time and now?
yeah. No, at the time I was working all the time. I was working, like I would wake up and I'd have my computer next to me and I'd just start working. I'd have lunch, I'd be working, I'd go to the gym for an hour, I'd come back and I'd just be working like all the time. It was just all day. Because there were a lot of bugs, because there were a lot of users coming in, a lot of people complaining, a lot of people wanted new features, all this. And I'm also trying to market it, and I'm also talking about it on Twitter, and so it's like this endless loop of you want to make this product better, you need to fix what's broken, you want to market it. It's crazy, man. It just never stops. And so I was working all the time till I got burnt out. Um, and I was having trouble sleeping as well. I had like insomnia for like a month because I was stressed out over whether it made sense to sell, all this stuff. And then now, yeah, obviously it's quite different. I basically don't work until like after lunch, and then I'll work like 5 6 hours after lunch, and then that's it. So I take like the morning off. I'll go work out. I'll go whatever, see my friends, play some tennis, and then yeah. Now I don't work as much, obviously, but
Do
it's not
you
like it's not like I'm set financially for life. It's not that, but it's more just I'm trying to just be a little bit smarter with my hours, I think.
got it, got it? And do you have any productivity tips, or do you use any productivity tools that help you, like in the past and now?
I use Notion for almost everything. I have everything
Hmm.
kind of set up in Notion, what I have to do, uh, what I should be doing and stuff. But not really, man. I think the best productivity thing that for me is just stress. It's just I need to get this done. It has to be done right now, and so that just kind of keeps me going.
Yeah, one of my mentors told me once that the best productivity tool is learning to say no.
Yeah,
Because sometimes we want to do a lot of things in a limited time, but maybe the best things would be to just reduce the number of things to do, right? And just focus on one or two things, and that's it.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I wish someone had told me that back then.
And now that you said, okay, you did exit and so on. So now, what are you working on?
Yeah, so now I'm switching into mobile apps.
Okay.
So because my older brother, he has a very successful mobile app, and he saw me kind of in the struggle of building a SaaS, and he was like, "Man, if you just get a few things right with a mobile app, you're gonna get so much love inside of this marketplace. Like Apple just loves when you have a few reviews coming in consistently, when people download the app, when they use the app properly. So if you build a solid app and you are smart about how you get reviews, how often you get reviews, and maybe even you use one of these new, I don't want to say tools, but you use something like TikTok to push those downloads early on, you can build a really solid business. And it's kind of the benefit of building inside of a marketplace, not just building like another SaaS that anyone can compete with, right? And so now I'm testing that. I built a digital business card app, And so yeah, it's super interesting to build that.
What is your app about?
So the app is a here. I'll show you because I have it here.
Yeah, I will put the link, all the links in the
Yeah,
description, by the way. But then, in the meantime, I
yeah,
want to give like you my reflection because this is something important, I think. Because I think that your brother is your unfair advantage. You know what I mean? Because you
yeah.
already have a person that is very successful in this field. So yeah, of course you have successfully built a SaaS, and that's good on your own. But for me, it was so clear that you had like this person there that could really help you and give you
Hmm.
tips, suggestions, recommendation that no one else could have.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. It's both. It's also my younger brother with a YouTube channel. Like he's helped me. He was the one who started YouTube first, right? So
Mhm.
I've just been taking things from them, and we kind of I've if you check my brother's SEO, he has phenomenal SEO, right? And so
Sure,
well,
sure, sure,
but
sure. Yeah.
yeah, so it's like it's almost like this like little kind of startup bubble that we kind of just help each other out on our projects. But anyway, here's the app. So you basically just
Yes.
have your own all your details in the app. You hit share. You have your QR. When you scan that, it sends you to a link, and you can download someone's information. So it's not a new app, right? This isn't. I'm not creating groundbreaking technology. This is an open AI, but what I was seeing is I was looking for a category of apps that were making a lot of money. And if you guys don't know, there's this applet that allows you to find out how much revenue an app is making on a monthly basis. So let's see if I can show you here. So for example, here's
Hmm.
a this is a plant detection app. Like you
Okay.
scan a plant and it'll tell you how much it is. Let me just click this here. Let's see if you guys can see that there.
Yes. Yes.
It's loading.
Uh, what?
So it says
400.
400,000 revenue last month, right? So you can do this with anything. I'll send you the link so you can add it here.
Sure.
And so I started doing some research about like, hey, what are some apps that are kind of easy to build because I've never built a mobile app that could also be easy to market, and there's also a social component to it. And so there's a lot of like trackers,
Hmm.
alcoholism trackers, like sober trackers, sleep trackers, and yeah. So I went for a digital business card app because I realized that it was pretty easy to build, and there's competitors that are making like 300 grand, and the app is basically the same app. Like there is nothing special to this app. They just have good marketing, good brand, and that's what's important nowadays, right? So I basically improved the app a little bit in terms of design, and now I'm just going to market the absolute shit out of it.
Yeah. And how are you planning to monetize with it? Advertisement or
No,
what?
no. So what they do is they have like freemium things. So for example, if you
Ah,
want to add
okay.
your logo to the QR, you have to pay $7 a month. $7 a month for a business card app is insane. But a lot of people pay for it, right? Because they see it as like a business expense. Like, oh, I want all my employees to have the same business card app. I want it to be super easy instead of like I don't want to print all these cards. That's more expensive than just having someone just have a little app every month, right? So yeah, so that's the niche that I'm going for now.
So I understand. So based on what I understood now, you have this app. It's already like quite stable, right? I mean, it's already present like in the App Store and
Hmm.
for Android and iOS, right?
Yeah,
For both.
yeah.
So now you are planning like to just making it growing, or what are the plan with these apps? I mean, are you planning
Yeah, now
to?
now the plan is just to go viral on TikTok as easy as easy as that is. No, but it's just to compound downloads to work on ASO, which is SEO for apps, and I translated the app to like 20 something languages, and now you start to see, and this is again the benefit of being in a marketplace, right? Really quickly translating everything into a bunch of different languages. Now I'm having a bunch of downloads in Saudi Arabia because I translated the app to Arabic, and so it's just it's just free kind of downloads, right? And it's something that I think for a normal SaaS, like try translating your SaaS into a bunch of languages, doing like international SEO. Like it's such a mess. It's such a mess to target different languages in like a non-marketplace kind of environment. And so that's kind of one of the good things about being inside of the App Store and building mobile apps like that.
Got it. But how do you see the future of SaaS?
How do
Because
you? Sorry.
how do you see the future of SaaS? Because now there is. I agree with you. Of course, every type of business has its pro and cons, right?
Yeah.
Because we are not saying that building app for mobile is the easiest things in the world,
No,
right?
no, no.
No, it's also true that now with these AI things, everyone could build SaaS okay, maybe they, because people say okay, but they are not scalable, blah blah blah, but they are still competitors, you know.
Yeah,
End user typically don't know a lot about tech, so they just see the front end, right, and say,
yeah,
okay, this is more or less is doing what I want it to do, and I will pay because it's cheaper. And I also think that I don't know the status now on the mobile development, but I also think that in less than 5 years we will start having like some cursor sort of things, but for mobile. We
for
already have
sure.
some of them,
Yeah,
but
yeah. I mean, it's already happening. Like this app, I barely coded. You know, it was like 95% cursor. So
cursor, okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I don't know where it's going. It's interesting. I had a friend that he gave me his hot take, and his hot take was that every business is going to have their own kind of like AI dev specialist, and they're going to build their own like internal Holded, their own internal accounting software, HR software. Like they're all just kind of mini things that you can maybe spin up in like a day or two, and the whole moat of going for a brand like Factorial, for example, in Barcelona, it's really popular.
Sure.
It just kind of dies, right? Because at the end of the day, like that SaaS, it's not very complex to build, right? But it's just we don't have, like, as business owners, we don't have the time to think about that. But if you hire one person, he can just whip out all these things super quickly. Why not? You know, it does save you a lot of money.
Yeah.
Uh, that's a hot take from one of my friends, but yeah,
Sure, sure, sure. The future is quite unpredictable now.
yeah,
Just look at the speed we are going on. So
hmm
we have been like very fast, honestly, because it's like 30 minutes and I have almost finished my questions. So we are
all
like
good.
reaching the conclusion,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
it's I mean you give a lot of information. And this if you have any advice for young professionals and students who are aspiring, to become entrepreneurs and build their own things,
Yeah,
product or they agency or whatever, doesn't matter.
yeah. I would just start building. Honestly, I would just go insane. Like I would just try to be as exposed as possible to all of the latest tools and just start building like crazy, man. Like whatever it is, if it's a SaaS, if it's a mobile app, see how people are doing the marketing on. Look at TikTok. TikTok's so interesting because I think that's where everyone is like pushing their marketing to, and it's becoming like the new search engine. It's becoming everything, right, for young people. And so my recommendation is just to build things. Like don't think about, oh, what's going to happen if I, maybe it's not perfect, this and that. Just build it, launch it, and then see what happens later. I think that's the best thing you can do nowadays.
I agree with you. Also, if at the same time in the last period, I will start thinking that, okay, of course, it's easier now to build, but what I see on the other side, especially in the indie hackers community, I will say, is that people that are building a lot of things without talking with customers.
Hmm.
So what happens is that, okay, you build a lot of things, it's cool, but then it's also a bit like soul consuming when you build a lot of things and no one is working.
Yeah.
So what do you think about this? I mean, because I know I'm thinking about what you were saying before, no? But you invest a lot of times in YouTube, so you already have a community, right? This is also an unfair advantage
Absolutely.
because you had the opportunity to talk with people in a specific niche and so on. So do you think that there is like a good trade-off? I mean, a good trade-off between building and do some sort of idea validation without investing 1 year
Yeah, yeah,
on
yeah.
finding the perfect idea because it will never exist.
Yeah, absolutely. No, just because you said like young people, I was just thinking like just start building and just get
Sure,
exposed to
sure,
it.
sure.
But yeah, for someone that's like maybe a bit more serious, it's definitely important to find out if people want that product, and if they don't want it, why don't they want it, right? Because it's also like maybe you build something, you get people in, they absolutely hate it, but you ask them why exactly, and they're like, well, I hated this, but I really like this other thing, this email sequence, I don't know, and you end
I
up
got it.
building something off that feedback, right? So I think that's the most important thing, and that's one of the things that happened in clicks as well. A lot of people hated, I forget exactly what feature it was, they hated one feature but they really liked another one, and so I pushed harder on the other one, and that allowed me to convert more customers. And so it's what they say, the customer is always right, and they know exactly what they want. Like, and that's also one of the issues, right, with people that they build so much, that you almost forget that you're building it for someone, right? You're not building it for yourself. So build it and then see what people think. If they don't like it, there'll be a reason why,
Yeah,
and then go after that reason. But yeah, absolutely, you definitely need feedback. Don't just build like 1,000 things without talking to anyone.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think that here the main takeaway is show your work, whatever it
of
is.
course.
If you
Yeah,
are a SEO expert, start a YouTube channel, if you are a developer, build products, because from the action, then the consequence could be like other feedback and so on, and the path start to become more clear,
Yeah,
right?
and I think build in public is kind of, I don't know, people love it and hate it nowadays, but if you just talk about what you're building on Twitter, like every once in a while I'll see a random person of a random app that I've never heard of. They're like, yeah, I just built this app. 40,000 impressions, a bunch of comments, a bunch of people going to download the app, a bunch of people telling them they hate it, a bunch of people telling them it's made. You just get feedback, right? You can just talk about what you're building, the issues you're having. People are going to resonate with it, and yeah, I would definitely recommend that as well. If you don't want to do a YouTube channel, which is a pain in the ass, and a lot of people don't want to do it, Twitter's easy. LinkedIn, right? Talk to people on LinkedIn. Share what you're doing on LinkedIn.
Completely agree. Completely agree. And last question is:
Yeah.
looking back at your journey so far, what is the one thing that you have done differently, and what are you most proud of? Hard question, right?
Yeah, I think. Well, I think the main thing is the YouTube channel, just because early on, I remember when I was starting the YouTube channel, there were like a bunch of different channels that I would look up to. They had like 3,000 subscribers. I was like, wow, it'd be so cool to eventually hit that number. And one of the things that I always talk about with my younger brother, with Adnan, who was also on YouTube, is the only way to win in YouTube, or the only reason that someone has beat you in YouTube, like they're bigger than you, is because they've most likely pressed the submit button on YouTube more than you, right? So this idea of you're just going to outlast them, right? You're just going to publish more videos, and eventually something will work. You're going to learn from your mistakes. You're going to make more videos, and so it's just that kind of resistance to failure, where it's like you'll publish a video, it's a 10 out of 10. No one watches it. Everyone hates you. Okay, screw it. I'm going to do another one next week. I'm going to do another one until it works, right? And so I think that's one of the things that has kind of just helped me push forward, right? It's just, it doesn't really matter if it works this week, it doesn't work this week, it doesn't work. Eventually it's going to start working, right? Because I'm not going to stop until it works. And so I guess that's what I'm proud of, just the fact that I haven't stopped. And yeah.
What you have done differently? Like, there is one mistake that you have done in the past, and
I don't know. I want to say that maybe working totally alone is a mistake, but I'm not sure yet, because obviously the last clicks was a success to some extent.
yes, sure.
So yeah, so I don't know. I think maybe if I wasn't, and I've been told by other people as well, that if I wasn't alone, if I had a co-founder, then I probably could have gone farther. I probably could have had someone like, hey, take a month off. I'll figure it out this month. But I didn't. So maybe that's my mistake. Maybe I could have still been working on it, and it would have been a bigger company by now. But yeah, maybe in the future I end up working with people. So far, I'm still working on these apps alone. So I don't know. Maybe I won't learn from my mistake. I don't know.
Yeah. The problem is that you will never know what would have happened, and if you had a
Yeah,
co-founder. So that's the
absolutely.
thing. Yeah, but maybe an hybrid approach. Maybe it's the best thing. Like, lock in your room for 3 days, and then 3 other days work with other people. Just go to a co-working space and work from
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah,
Like these sort of things. But
yeah,
at the end, you know what works best for you.
yeah.
So we thank you very much, Jama. We reached like the end of the episode. How can we contact you? How we can keep in touch with you?
Just my YouTube channel. If you just look up Jalma Ross on YouTube, you'll see me there. So any
Perfect.
questions? Yeah.
Thank you very much, Jama. A lot of information, and congratulations for everything you reached.
Thanks, man.
Your story is really inspiring, and see you soon.
Thanks, man. See you
Thank
at the
you,
next
everyone.
meetup.
Yes. Bye.